Greetings, everybody. So, quick question for you. When I say pop culture, what comes to mind? Well, for some of you, I'm sure it's television and movies. For others of you, it could be video games, YouTube or Twitch streamers. For some of you, maybe books, any number of things. But what you might not have thought of in the past is the very intricate relationship that exists between pop culture and intercultural communication and how those weave together and how one's culture that you're from, where you're at, heavily influences what type of pop culture you are exposed to and what you have access to. Now, we're going to do something a little different for this subject. Some of you may have heard the phrase before, why reinvent the wheel? Well, I think that applies here. Because although I'm eminently qualified to talk about the relationship between pop culture and intercultural communication, one of my colleagues here at Gateway, Michelle Crowley, this is her focus area. You see, for any of us that go through the process of teaching college, we get familiar with all the various sub areas within our discipline. So in comm, that's public speaking, interpersonal communication, small group communication, organizational communication, health communication, yada, yada, yada. But we all have an area that we particularly focus in. For example, my focus area tends to be on public address, political debate, and the rhetoric or argumentation strategies of social movements, what tends to make them work or not work. Well, Michelle's focus is pop culture and the interrelationship between it, communication, society, and so forth. So instead of listening to me on this subject, instead I asked Michelle if she would be willing to do some videos on this chapter discussing this subject. And so she has put together a series of 3 videos that will go over this subject of intercultural communication in pop culture. And like I said, Michelle knows a lot about this. She has done several presentations at national conferences on this particular issue, pop culture and its influences. She even once taught a class dealing with pop culture, communication, and the show Supernatural, which some of you might be familiar with. And she actually got cast and crew members of the TV show to come in, most of them via Skype or Zoom, and be guest presenters in the class. So she really knows her stuff. So that being said, I hope you sit back, relax, and listen to everything Michelle has to offer. And with that, take it away, Michelle.